Okay, we're looking at Workbook 9-3, and it says identify the type of each angle pair shown. So here we have two intersecting lines. They share a vertex, and they're congruent here. They're both 30. So the intersecting lines mean the lines go through each other. They don't share a ray. So this one, all they share is a vertex. This angle's made by going like this, and this angle's made by going like this. So these are vertical angles. Now this one, these share a vertex right here, and they also share a ray, so they're adjacent. They're sharing a ray. Adjacent share a common ray. So these are adjacent. I'm going to write kind of quickly here. Adjacent. Hard to write with a mouse. And this should be an E. So they're adjacent, but they're also, if you add the two angle measures up, this one's 130, this one's 50, you get 180. So we say they're supplemental angles, meaning if you added together, they make a straight line. Supplemental. As opposed to complementary. Complementary would form a 90-degree angle. Let's move on here. So on number 3, we're asked what kind of angles are these? Are they complementary or supplementary or neither? And we're asked to look for A, Q, C, and that's a 65-degree angle, and then G, Q, C. G, Q, C. That's 115. So if you add those two together, 10, and you get 180. So this 2 is supplemental, number 3. Supplemental. Supplemental means they form a straight 180-degree line. So number 3 is supplemental. If they added to 90 degrees, we would call that complementary. Number 7 is a little more complicated because they're asking for B, Q, C, and D, Q, C. D, Q, C. All right, so on this, let's take a look. We have to do a little problem solving here. We can't move the protractor on the worksheet. So one method would be to move the protractor and measure it with this vertex on this line right here and measure it. Another way is what we did in class. We just counted by 5s and how many degrees was from here to here without using the numbers. But what we could also do is we could say AQC is 65 degrees. AQC, and then AQB is 10 degrees. So if we subtract this here, B and A, this measure right here, if we subtract that, we'll get from this measure, this larger measure, we'll be left with this measure right here. I'm kind of valuing things up. So this big measure here from this A to the C minus this to this will give me this to this. So that's what I did. I measured A, Q, C, and I got 65. Then I measured A, Q, B, I got 10, and then I subtracted. So this is a 55-degree measurement. Now I need to look at DQC. DQC. Ooh, DQC. So I'm going to measure from GQC. I get this whole measurement from here all the way to here. And then I'll subtract, take away GQD, take away from here to here, and then I'll be left with this to this. Okay, so let's do that. So GQC is 115 degrees. GQD is 80. 115 minus 80 is 35. So now we can add those together and see what we come up with. So 55 plus 35 is 90. And a 90-degree angle, we say they're complementary. Complementary. Supplementary. So just got to use a little problem solving to figure out these angles in the middle if you can't move the protractor. Most ideal way would be to move the protractor, measure it. We also counted the degrees here, but also then you could measure from the larger the degree that's on the 180 degree line on the line to here, and then subtract the measurement between them, and you get where the remainder is from here to here. So a couple ways to go about doing that.